einen guten Abend.
And let's open with prayer.
Lass uns mit Gebet anfangen.
Dear Father in heaven,
Lieber Vater im Himmel,
we thank you that we can open your word.
wir danken dir, dass wir dein Wort auftun können.
We thank you for your rich promises,
Wir danken dir für deine reiche Verheißungen.
that you promised that as we draw nigh unto you, you will draw nigh unto us.
Du hast uns verheißt, dass so wie wir dich annähern, so näherst du uns.
And we ask you therefore that you would please now give us an open understanding for this book of Revelation.
So, wir bitten jetzt, dass du uns ein offenes Verständnis gibst für dieses Buch der Offenbarung.
And that Christ would pass us by.
Und dass Christus an uns vorüberziehen möge.
And as we now pray for him to enter and abide with us,
Und so wie wir jetzt beten, dass er hineinkommen und mit uns weilen mögest,
that he would also open our eyes like he did to the Emmaus disciples.
dass er auch unsere Augen auftun mag, so wie er den Jüngern von Emmaus getan hat.
Lord, we ask for your spiritual blessings to be upon us and for refreshing,
Und wir bitten für deine geistliche Segnung über uns zu sein, für eine Erquickung
and for the latter rain and the time of the latter rain.
und für das Spätregen zur Zeit des Spätregens.
And we ask and pray in Jesus' name.
Und wir bitten und beten in Jesu Namen.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So, let us open the book of Revelation, chapter 14.
So, lass uns unsere Bibel in Offenbarung 14 aufschlagen.
And this is where we will continue,
Und hier werden wir fortsetzen.
because thus far we looked at the first 13 chapters. Okay.
Soweit haben wir die ersten 13 Kapitel angeschaut.
And maybe just to make a brief recap of the chapter 13,
Und nur um eine kurze Wiederholung von Kapitel 13 zu machen,
maybe let's go there again.
so lass uns da aufschlagen.
So, maybe extend this here. So we have the two son-in-laws here, and then the 7 last plagues.
Hier die 2 Sonntagsgesetze und dann die 7 letzten Plagen.
And we understand that John, he was standing here,
Und wir verstehen, dass Johannes hier gestanden hat.
this deadly wound, and he saw a beast in the past coming out of the sea. Yes?
Tödliche Wunder und hat diesen Tier in der Vergangenheit, wie es aus dem Meer emporgestiegen ist.
But then he saw the deadly wound and how the deadly wound was healed.
Er hat den Todeswunde gesehen und dann gesehen, wie der Todeswunde geheilt wird.
And then how the whole earth, or all those that dwelt upon the earth, worshipped him. Right?
Und dann, wie all diejenigen, die auf die Erde geweilt haben, ihm angebetet haben.
Okay. And then we also saw, beginning in verse 11,
Und dann haben wir auch gesehen, beginnend in Vers 11,
how this other beast came up also at the same time here where John was standing.
so, wo dieser andere Tier heraufgekommen ist, zur selben Zeit, da wo Johannes gestanden ist,
Came up as a lamb and was speaking like a
kam wie ein Lamm herauf und dann sprach wie
dragon.
ein
Right?
Drache.
So and then made everybody to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Yes?
Verursachte, dass allen den ersten Tier angebetet haben, dessen tödliche Wunde geheilt wird.
And he brought down fire and all these miracles from heaven
Er hat Feuer und all diese Wunder vom Himmel heruntergebracht
and deceived everybody.
und
Right?
hat allen dadurch verführt.
And then in verse 15 we saw this was then this way mark because he was now putting people to death, right?
Und dann in Vers 15, wir haben gesehen, dass es diese Wegmarke hier war, weil hier haben sie allen den Tod übergeben.
So it's this death decree that is now being issued here. Right?
Diese Todesdekret, die hier erlassen wird.
And nobody could buy and sell
Keiner konnte hier kaufen oder verkaufen,
except you had the mark of the beast. Right?
außer dass du den Malzeichen des Tieres hattest.
And all this leads you then down to this deadly wound here. Right?
Und all dies führte dann zu dieser Todeswunde hier.
Okay, but what follows immediately after then?
Aber was folgt direkt danach?
So in last place, right?
Die 7 letzten Plagen.
Okay, so And who goes through these 7 last plagues?
Und wer geht durch die 7 letzten Plagen durch?
Yeah, the 144,000.
So, die 144.000,
It's all those that passed through this time here successfully
das sind all diejenigen, die hier erfolgreich diesen Zeit überstanden haben
and that remained alive and were not martyrs.
und die noch am Leben waren und nicht umgebracht worden waren.
Okay, so and when you go now to chapter 14,
Wenn wir jetzt zu Kapitel 14 gehen,
it begins here with the 144,000.
es fängt hier mit den 144.000 an.
So let's begin in verse 1.
So, lasst uns in Vers 1 anfangen.
It says, "And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads." Okay, so here we can see the 144,000, right?
So, hier sehen wir die 144.000.
And they are with the Lamb
Sie sind mit den Lamm
on Mount Zion.
auf dem Berg Zion.
And it says then in verse 2,
Dann sagt es in Vers 2.
"And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the 4 beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth." Okay, so what did the 144,000 do here?
So, was taten die 144.000 hier?
Overcome.
Yeah, they sing a new song, it says. Yes?
Sie singen ein neues Lied.
Nobody else can learn the song apart from them.
Und niemand anders kann diesen Lied lernen, außer sie.
And what instruments do they have?
Und welche Instrumenten spielen sie?
Harps. Okay.
Harfen.
So they have these harps and they now play on the harps and they sing this new song.
Sie haben diesen Harfen, die spielen da drauf und singen diesen neuen Lied.
And it says they were redeemed from where?
Und es sagt, dass sie erlöst waren von wo?
The end of verse 3.
Am Ende von Vers 3.
That's from the earth, right?
Von der Erde.
So they are these redeemed ones that now overcame and therefore they sing now this song
Die sind
Okay.
diese Erlösten, die überwunden haben. Deswegen singen sie jetzt diesen Lied
on the harps.
auf den Harfen.
So keep your finger here, let's go to Revelation 15.
So, haltet den Platz hier und geht zur Offenbarung 15.
Let's begin in verse 1.
Fangen wir in Vers 1 an.
It says, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God." So who's illustrated here in verse 2?
So, wer wird hier in Vers 2 dargestellt?
Yeah, the same group, right?
Selbe Gruppe.
These overcomers,
Die Überwinder,
they have harps of God.
die haben Harfen Gottes.
And that's now verse 3.
Das ist Vers 3.
And also, where do they stand in verse 2?
Wo stehen sie in Vers 2?
The sea of glass, right?
Im Glasner Meer.
Lawrence,
Mhm.
I know because when you last mentioned this, you were doing another chapter, but you mentioned these ones. When you look at the structure in chapter 14, right? It goes from chapter 14 then to chapter 15, right? All the way down. So what I want to suggest is because it says that these are the first fruits, right? So when you go to this thing there where it says fruit, that's where they would be standing, right? And then you have these, because that's where the first angel's message in history went forward with great power. You have this gospel going all the way down to the end, right, to the 7 last plagues, and you have the same group standing there at the end. You get my point? Because that point there is typifying the end of the 7th plague. It's also typifying the end of the second Sunday of London. So it's the same. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you want to say, but I want to roll it up this other way around, because they're not standing there perfectly, they're standing there perfectly.
No, not perfectly. I'm just saying that I'm not saying perfectly. When Christ got resurrected, right, when Christ was baptism, he's typifying the 144,000 anyway. Because when Christ, he had a holy mind. He had all the sins had been blotted out. And that's who the 144,000 typified, right? So that's what I'm saying. In this sense, this would be Christ's baptism. Then that would make you understand why it has 1, 2, 3 messages. Then it leads you down to chapter 15, buying of the same group again.
Yes, but we jump way ahead.
You'd never mentioned that before because I remember last time you had some difficulties. I was just making some observations, that's all. If I'm jumping ahead, then forgive me, but I don't know why that's a problem.
No, it's just, I would just want to first lay it out and then we'll come to these points. I mean, just want to go through it one after another. Okay, so Revelation 15.
So Offenbarung 15
So in verse 2,
und Vers 2.
We can see the same group, right?
Wir können derselbe Gruppe sehen.
So they have these harps of God,
Die haben diesen Harfen Gottes,
and they're the overcomers. And in verse 3,
die sind Überwindern. Und dann im Vers 3.
and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. So, what do they sing?
So, was singen sie?
Yeah, they sing the song of Moses and the song of the Lamb, right?
Das Lied Mose und das Lied des Lammes.
Okay, but in Revelation 14, what did we see? What did they sing?
Aber in Offenbarung 14, was haben sie gesungen?
A new song.
Ein
Right?
neues Lied.
Okay, so this new song was the song that nobody apart from them could sing.
So dieses neue Lied war das Lied, die niemand singen konnte, außer die.
And it was the song of Moses and of the Lamb.
Das Lied Mose und das Lied des Lammes.
Okay, and just go now also to Revelation chapter 5.
Geht jetzt auch zu Offenbarung 5
Or maybe even chapter 4 first,
oder sogar Kapitel 4 zuerst,
in verse 6.
Vers 6.
It says, And before the throne there was a sea of glass, like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were 4 beasts, full of eyes, and before and behind. So where do these 4 beasts stand?
So, wo stehen diese 4 Tiere?
At the sea of glass, right?
Im Glasner Meer.
Where did the overcomers stand?
Wo standen die Überwindern?
Also a sea of glass,
Auch
right?
am Glasner Meer.
So chapter 5,
So, Kapitel 5 jetzt
verse 8.
und Vers 8.
Because in chapter 5 also the Lamb appears, right?
Denn im Kapitel 5 erscheint der Lamm.
And takes the book out of the hand.
Nimmt das Buch aus dem Hand.
And then verse 8 it says,
Vers 8 sagt es.
And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. So what do they have in their hands?
Was haben sie in ihren Händen?
Harps, right?
Harfen.
So they stand at the sea of glass, they have harps.
So, sie stehen am Glasner Meer und haben Harfen.
And then verse 9,
Und dann Vers 9.
and they sung a new song. What do they sing?
Was singen sie?
A new song.
Ein neues Lied.
Saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain, and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and hast made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. So what are they?
So, was sind sie?
As kings and priests.
Könige und Priester.
And they were redeemed, it says, right?
Sie waren erlöst, sagt es.
What did it say about the 144,000?
Was sagte es über die 144.000?
Yeah, were redeemed from the earth,
Waren
right?
erlöst von der Erde.
Okay, so therefore we can see this parallel illustration here, yes?
Also deswegen können wir diese parallele Darstellung hier sehen.
But we studied chapter 4 and chapter 5, yes?
Aber wir haben bereits Kapitel 4 und 5 studiert.
And where was chapter 4 and where was chapter 5?
Und wo war Kapitel 4 und Kapitel 5?
Yes, okay. Right, in the investigative judgment, yes?
Anfang und Ende der 7. Plage in der Untersuchungsgericht.
So chapter 4 was in here,
Also Kapitel 4 waren hier drin.
chapter 5 was then here, right?
Kapitel 5 fängt dann hier an.
So here you have the 4 living creatures singing the song, right?
Hier hast du die 4 lebendige Wesen, die das Lied singen.
with a harp standing at the sea of glass. Yes?
Harfen stehen am Glasner Meer.
Okay. But we can see they typify the 144,000. Yes?
Aber wir können sehen, dass sie den 144.000 vorausschatten.
Yes, because just the same illustration, the 144,000 stand at the sea of glass, having harps, sing the new song, which is the song of Moses in the land. Yes?
Selbe Darstellung, die 144.000 stehen am Glasner Meer und singen das neue Lied und haben Harfen, singen den Lied Moses und des Lammes.
And they were redeemed from the earth.
Und
Yes?
sie waren von der Erde erlöst worden.
Okay, so they are these overcomers.
Die sind denn diese Überwinder.
Okay, but when you go now back to Revelation chapter 14,
Wenn wir aber jetzt zu Kapitel 14 zurückgehen,
it says in the song, the new song, yes, in verse 1,
in Vers 1,
it says, "And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads." So, what do they have in their foreheads?
was haben sie in ihrem Stirn? Auf ihrem Stirn?
Yeah, the seal of God. Right?
Das Siegel Gottes.
Okay, so now let's go to this quote that I posted in the livestream group.
So gehen wir zu diesem Zitat, die in der Livestream-Gruppe gepostet worden ist.
Because here Sister White, she comments on this. Okay.
Ellen White kommentiert gerade darüber.
It says, "Upon the crystal sea, before the throne, that sea of glass, as it were mingled with fire." So where are they?
So, wo sind sie?
The sea of glass, right?
Glasner Meer.
So resplendent is it with the glory of God, are gathered the company that hath gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name. So what is she quoting here?
So, was zitiert sie hier?
Which portion?
So, welches Teil?
No, Revelation 15 verse 2. Yes?
Offenbarung 15 und Vers 2.
It says, just go there again.
Gehen wir wieder dahin.
It says, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God." Okay? And then they sing the song of Moses in the Lamb.
Dann singen sie das Lied Mose und des Lammes.
Okay, let's continue in the quote.
Dann lesen wir weiter in den Zitat.
It says, "With the Lamb upon Mount Zion, having the harps of God, they stand." They stand. So what is she now referring to?
So, worauf bezieht sich jetzt?
Revelation 14 verse 1. Yes?
Offenbarung 14 und Vers 1.
Okay, because there it says the Lamb stands with 144,000 on the Mount of Zion.
Hier sagt es, dass der Lamm steht mit den 144.000 auf Berg Zion.
It says, so let's go back to the quote.
So, zur Zitat.
Let's read again. It says, "With the Lamb upon Mount Zion, having the harps of God, they stand, the 144,000 that were redeemed from among men. And there's heard as the sound of many waters, and as the sound of a great thunder, the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sing a new song before the throne, a song which no man can learn, save the 144,000. It is the song of Moses and the Lamb, a song of deliverance." So here she therefore combines Revelation 14 and Revelation 15. Yes?
So, hier verbindet sie Offenbarung 14 und Offenbarung 15.
Okay. Because then it says they sing a new song in Revelation 14, and in Revelation 15 they sing the song of Moses and the Lamb. Yes?
Es sagt in Offenbarung 14, dass sie ein neues Lied singen und in Offenbarung 15 das Lied des Lammes und Mose.
Okay, let's continue.
Lesen wir weiter.
And it's a song of deliverance, it says.
Und es sagt hier, dass es ein Befreiungslied ist.
It says, "None but the 144,000 can learn that song, for it is the song of their experience, an experience such as no other company have ever had. So what is their song representing?
So was steht in dem Lied da?
The experience, okay?
Erfahrung.
So they basically now relay the experience how the Lord delivered them.
So, sie geben ihre Erfahrung weiter, wie der Herr sie befreit hat.
And says nobody else had this experience, therefore nobody else can sing this song. Yes?
Es sagt, dass niemand anders diese Erfahrung gehabt haben, deswegen können sie diesen Lied nicht singen.
But still, nonetheless, it tells it's the song of Moses and of the Lamb. Yes?
Aber nichtsdestotrotz, es sagt, dass es das Lied Mose und des Lammes ist.
So therefore, it links you to the experience of Moses. Okay?
Deswegen verbindet es dir mit der Erfahrung von Mose.
And where did they sing the song of Moses?
Und wo sangen sie das Lied Mose in der Vergangenheit? Cross the Red Sea.
And when they crossed the Red Sea.
Das Rote Meer überquert.
So go in your Bibles, please, to Exodus chapter 15.
So gehen wir in unseren Bibeln zu 2. Buch Mose 15.
It says, Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. So, and then when you just continue reading, it's basically repeats how the Lord delivered them. Okay?
Wenn man so weiterliest, ist im Grunde wiederholt die Erfahrung, wie der Herr sie befreit hat.
So it's basically the song of deliverance. Yes?
Es ist das Lied der Befreiung,
So it's this experience.
diese Erfahrung eben.
Okay, so therefore what can we already therefore learn also of this experience here that is described coming out of Egypt?
So, was können wir von dieser Erfahrung lernen, die hier beschrieben ist, wie sie aus Ägypten kam?
And what does it therefore also typify?
So, was schattet es deswegen voraus?
Yeah, the experience of the 144,000, but why can nobody else sing this song?
Die Erfahrung von die 144.000, aber warum kann niemand anders diesen Lied singen?
No, which experience? The 7 last plagues. Okay.
Nur die durch die 7 letzten Plagen durchgehen.
Okay, so this experience only the 144,000 go through.
So,
Okay.
diese Erfahrung, also die 7 letzten Plagen, gehen nur die 144.000 durch.
So therefore, I want to suggest that also this experience of Moses coming out of Egypt has also an application here.
Deswegen
To
möchte
the
ich
7
vorschlagen,
last
dass
plagues.
Mose, wie er aus Ägypten herauskam, hat auch eine Anwendung hier in den 7 letzten Plagen.
I don't profess to really understand all the details, how to place it there, but it doesn't matter at the moment.
Ich weiß nicht ein Detail, wie ich es jetzt da markiere, aber im Moment, das tut nicht zur Sache.
Okay, so
Why not? I don't know why you're making that point. Why do you not know how to place it there? But it was there, and it was there. Why not?
yes, but I mean all the details I didn't think about how to mark it now in the 7 last plagues. So that's my point.
Okay, but I'm not sure why you're marking the 7 last plagues in that sense.
Because it's a song of Moses, right? And it's the only the 144,000 can learn this song.
Okay, but the first group of the 144,000 come out of Egypt there, and the second group of the 144,000 come out of Egypt there,
Yes.
and that's why Sister White's putting them both together, right? Because it's speaking about that point there, right? Because in Revelation 15, putting the 144,000 at the beginning of the 7 plagues, right? That's when they come out of Egypt. Is it not? Of course it is. Revelation 15 is right at the beginning of the 7 plagues.
I mean, in some sense, yes,
Not
but
what you mean in some
really.
sense. It's Revelation 15 is at the beginning of the 7 plagues.
No. I mean, they stand here when they sing the song of Moses and the Lamb, right?
They stand there and they stand there also.
Yes, but only in principle.
No, not in principle. You can't tell me once.
Of course.
Revelation 14.
When you can only sing the song, it's because we go on reading, it's when they come out of the 7 last plagues, then they can sing the song. So this is only typifying this experience that you have at the end. Because obviously the Sunday law is typifying the 7 last plagues.
But Revelation 15 is talking about the 7 last plagues just about to be poured out, so how can you put that there?
I mean,
You're saying it's only typifying, that's marking?
No,
the 7 last plagues.
what I think is what the Bible wants to do is wants to link these things together.
No. Let the Bible do the talking. Revelation 15 tells you exactly what it is, and you're moving it, right? And that's wrong, right? So just go by what the Bible says and let the Bible teach you, right? Revelation 15 says very clearly that the judgments are just about to be poured out, and that's why it's marking it there, because that's where the 144,000 come out of Egypt, and that's where they have the victory, right? It might be typifying something later, but remember what we said, prophecy and principle. This is prophecy, and it's marking it there, so why you want to move it?
Because I think it's perfectly here.
There's no 7 plagues poured out there once. They're poured out there, right? So that's false what you're doing, right? And that's what I'm saying to you now. Put it where it says it goes.
As I said, verse 2, this marks where they come out of the 7 last plagues. So I don't deny that you can also stick it here, then joining it together at this waymark. You know, that you cannot just take it away. Let's just go back to this quote.
So, gehen wir zurück zu diesem Zitat.
Because we read that they sing the song of Moses and the Lamb, and it's the experience that nobody else can learn.
Ja, wir haben gesehen, dass sie das Lied Mose und des Lammes singen. Das ist ein Lied, das niemand anders lernen kann.
And now she explains why.
Und jetzt erklärt sie, warum.
Just in the middle of the quote it says,
In der Mitte des Zitats,
here where it says, none but the 144,000 can learn that song.
so, wo es sagt, keiner außer der 144.000 kann dieses Lied lernen.
For it's the song of the experience, an experience such as no other company have ever had. So nobody else ever had this experience. Right?
So, niemand anderem hat diese Erfahrung gehabt.
It says, these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These, having been translated from the earth, from among the living, are counted as the firstfruits unto God and unto the Lamb. These are they which came out of great tribulation. They have passed through the time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation. They have endured the anguish of the time of Jacob's trouble. They have stood without an intercessor through the final outpouring of God's judgments. But they have been delivered, for they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. In their mouth was found no guile, for they were without fault before God. So, why did they have this experience?
So, warum hatten sie diese Erfahrung?
Or why could they sing the song?
Oder warum konnten sie diesen Lied singen?
Because they went through the great tribulation.
Yes.
Weil sie durch das große Drangsal
And it
hindurchgingen.
says without an intercessor, right?
So, es sagt, ohne Fürsprecher.
Nobody would argue that point.
Yes.
Those 2 points just typify that point at the end.
Yes. That's exactly what I want to show.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying. No, I'm saying those 2 points, not those things. Those 2 points typify that at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
So this typifies this, and this typifies this.
Okay, so at the bottom of the quote, it quotes Revelation 7, right?
So, unten am Zitat ist zitiert
Das-
Offenbarung 7.
14 and 17, yes.
Yes, and when you go to Revelation 7, right,
Wenn man zur Offenbarung 7 geht,
that they'll hold back the four winds until the seventh have got a seal in their forehead.
dann sollen sie die 4 Wände zurückhalten, bis die Diener Gottes in ihrem Stern versiegelt werden.
It says in verse 4, I heard the number of them which were sealed, 144,000.
Vers 4.
So it sticks them right there.
Yes, but,
In the seventh place.
but she
Anfang der
quotes
7 Plagen.
here verse 14 to 17. Yes.
Okay.
Sie
And-
zitiert hier die Versen 14 bis 17.
And when you just begin verse 9, because this is now this portion, right, where it speaks about it, these verses, it
Wenn
says,
Vers 9 anfängt,
After this I beheld and lo a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
Yes.
So that's the general resurrection of the righteous, right?
das ist allgemeine Auferstehung den Gerechten.
So all these verses, they speak now about
I
here.
have no problem with that. I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying that the 144,000 are marked at the beginning.
When they are sealed, but then they have to go through this, and then they stand with the Lamb on the Mount Zion.
Yes, I'm not arguing that point. I'm talking about the way, I'm talking about the structure, the way that you're going on through this point when you're doing this thing, about the structure, that how things have been laid out, right? And it's done because just like Matthew 24, right, takes you through the Sunday law, then you go through the 7 last plagues, but we know, right, those verses are also referring to the Sunday law, right? So the point I'm making is when Sister White takes verses, it doesn't mean that that's the perfect application of it, right? She takes verses, sometimes puts it someplace and puts it at another place.
Yes,
right?
but she explains here why she takes these
I'm not
verses.
arguing
where she
anything
places
that's
it.
in the quote, I'm not arguing the fact about the 144,000 there. I'm just saying to you about this structure, the way it's laid out, is designed to show you these 2 points. That's the only point I'm making, but you seem to just throw that out and want to stick everything at the end.
No, I want to first place it where it perfectly applies, and then you can go and show where it's typified. So that's what I want to do.
I'm not sure that that's a correct application. That's what I'm saying. The Bible's laying it out and showing you where they are. She's just taking those verses and putting it at the end because that's where the 144,000 perfectly come through the Great Tribulation. And that's for sure.
Yes.
But it doesn't affect anything when you take Revelation. Just so I don't lose my thought. The first place was Revelation 14. Yes, Revelation 14, and place it there, and in Revelation 15, place it doesn't affect anything. Revelation 15 is just right at the beginning of the 7 places. The Bible puts those things in there for a reason. But when you say it's only a principle, that's what I have a problem with.
It's a type, right? So it's a type pointing forward to this perfect fulfillment.
Once you maybe misunderstand what I'm saying. Verses, right? When verses are put in the Bible in a certain place, they're there for a reason. That's the fulfillment of it, right? And it's true that they might be pointing forward to something that's happening, but I'm saying that those verses, that's where they should be put. But you're taking them out of their place, putting them there, saying that's where it's perfectly fulfilled, and then you're saying it's only a principle. That's what I have a problem with.
I don't know, I mean, for me it's clear that these verses point you to the second coming, and then
I'm not arguing that it doesn't happen.
you can also see the verses fulfilled there, but that's not.
I think the point is in chapter 15, verse 7, it says, after all these things have happened, that we get given the 7 vials to be poured out. So that would make chapter 15 actually perfectly fulfilled here. But it typifies what happens there, but it's still,
That's the point I'm
the
making.
chapter's fulfilled here.
You're taking it and saying it's perfectly fulfilled at the end, but I have a problem with that. You're taking it out of where the Bible has put it. And I don't know why you're doing that, because we know that the end of that Sunday law typifies the end of the seventh plague. You know that the end of that Sunday law typifies the seventh plague. And that's all Sister White's doing. I have no problem with that. Everything's nice. But it's this, what you're causing confusion when people reading the Bible then, because they will be asking, well, why are these three angels' messages after the end of the seventh plague? Is the Bible trying to confuse us? But it says the Lord is not the author of confusion. But when you put it there and show, look, there's where they're first being marked, because there's the first fruits, the first group of the 144,000. Then you have the three angels' message that brings you to Revelation 15. Second group, the 144,000 is now complete. 7 last plagues are poured out. And then right at the end, that's where they're all having this perfect victory song, right? With all these things you're talking about. And that's the only point I'm making, but you seem to just not want to do that. You want to put it all at the end. And that's what I have a problem with. That's just not right.
What I want to do is I want to first locate it where it's perfectly fulfilled, and then I want to take this illustration and place it then.
Lawrence, I think the confusion is just, what you're saying is the event, where the event is perfectly fulfilled, is at the end. I think nobody would disagree with that, but where these Bible verses, chapter 14 and 15, are perfectly located, is not at the end.
Yes,
The experience,
from the same principle.
exactly. So that's the difference. Nobody's disagreeing that at the end, the experience of chapters 14 and 15 are perfectly fulfilled, but the Bible verses, chapters 14 and 15, are not at the end. They're representing this experience and this experience, which both point to the end. Does that make sense? Just the Bible verses are not at the end. That's the point.
We should locate the verses properly, and that's the point I'm making. You're taking them, putting them somewhere else first, and then you're going to say, well, they're just principle. Yeah, that's not true. It's the other way around.
I don't know, you have to show us that you can take
God
imperfect fulfillments.
God is not, they're not perfect fulfillments.
Imperfect.
They're not imperfect fulfillments.
No, they are. Because
Lawrence, like when you come to the end of the Sunday law there, they come out of Egypt. It's a perfect fulfillment because the 144,000 there are sealed in the forehead, the first group, right? Now, the Lord is not the author of confusion. When he puts something in the Bible there, and then all of a sudden puts a whole gospel message after them, there's a reason why he's done that. That's not imperfect. You're saying God is imperfect when he does that. It's perfect. And therefore, the perfect fulfillment of those verses is there, right? Followed by the gospel to Revelation 15. And
okay, so I'll give you another example, okay? So let's go to Revelation 20.
Gehen wir zu Offenbarung 20.
So if you want to have everything in a chronological order,
I'm not saying that I want to have it. I'm just saying that as a flow of events that's.
Yes, you can see the flow of events when you understand where it first perfectly applies, and then also can see.
No, that's just a.
That's also here.
That's not
marked. Okay.
The Bible is done. Everything's done.
So let's go to Revelation 20 then.
Yep.
Offenbarung 20.
And because you have here first Satan is cast into the bottomless pit in these first verses.
Die ersten Versen ist Satan in den Abgrund geworfen.
And then verse 7 it says,
Vers 7 sagt dann,
and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven, and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So here we can see the fire comes down and devours them. Now.
Wir sehen, den Feuer kommt herab und verzehrt sie.
But now in verse 11.
Aber in Vers 11.
And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and the death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
Okay, what's your problem?
So my point I want to make is,
Simpson.
Just because it has a repeat and enlarged there, that makes a hard, fast rule? That's
No.
what you're doing, but I had the same discussion with you in Revelation 12, where I showed the first part, and then I just showed how I repeated it. But you says, no way, it's chronological, and I looked at it, I thought, okay, then I see your point, but now you're making an argument to the opposite. Revelation 12,
yes,
there's two parts where Satan is cast out.
yes, and I said it's this and this, and you said no way,
But Lawrence,
and you said it was chronology.
you're doing this very thing now. I'm saying that this is going in a logical order. You're saying no way, and that's what I'm saying to you. But you're making an argument now that things are not chronology. But you made this argument in Revelation 12 that it was, right? And I looked at it, I thought, okay, no problem, right? So, but you have a problem now, because I'm saying that has a flow of events which should be followed. And you're now taking on this argument and say, no, that's not showing it. But in Revelation 12, you're making the argument to show that it had a flow of events. Do you not see that you're
No,
contradicting yourself?
It's always based upon context. I mean,
Okay, thank you. It's based on context.
Yes.
So don't use this as an argument. That's not proving anything.
no, I just want to show that here the one thing can first be explained and then it can jump back.
I've got
Okay.
no problem with that. But it's based upon context. That's my point.
So the reason why you can see, for instance, that here the great white throne that appears to come up after the fire comes down from heaven, you can know that it can't be because the judgment must take place before the fire comes down, right? So therefore, you must always take into account what is written, and then
Lawrence, look,
you can
let's
place it.
not go there, right? We'll stand there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't prove anything what you're saying, right?
Okay, the only point is that I want to make is when you go to Revelation 14,
Der Punkt ist, die ich machen möchte, wenn wir zur Offenbarung 14 gehen,
it says that that they sing this song of Moses and the Lamb, or the song that nobody can learn.
dass die dieses Lied von Moses und der Lamm singen, also das Lied, die niemand anders lernen kann.
And they're sealed in their forehead, right? Because it's the end of the first Sunday law. It's simple. And they came through great tribulations. It doesn't break anything, right? And there's two groups of the 144,000 to make them up. The first group, you come to Revelation 15, and now they're fully made up. That's how we teach it. That is context. It shows you this perfectly, because we know when you come out the Sunday law, that's where you get the seal of God in your forehead. And they already have that experience, and they're just going to have it again, and then a third time. So I don't know why you're saying that it breaks context or whatever. Right?
No.
It shows it nice flow. And
And you
it's
say that
logical.
somehow you want to infer that I don't want to stick it there, but I say I want to stick it there, but only after I mark with perfectly big balloons.
You never heard those words come out of my mouth that said that you don't want to stick it there.
Okay.
I'll repeat again what I'm saying. I have a problem because you're saying at the end there, that's the perfect fulfillment, right? It's not. What I'm saying to you, it's marking it here because of the sequence of events. It's telling you it doesn't break context, and it flows nice and simple, so there's no confusion. So there's the perfect fulfillment of it, right? And it's pointing forward to the 140,000 that will be at the end of the seventh plague, right? It's exactly the same experience. So it doesn't break anything. And that's all I'm saying to you. You can show it much easier when you show it this way, and it doesn't break one single thing. But when you take it, and you do it the other way, there's confusion, right? Because now you think, okay, but why is that? And you can't give me an answer, why is that? The answer, you say, well, some places does that and then it jumps back. That's not an answer, right? Yes, they do it, but you can normally see exactly why they do that. Here
Yeah.
it flows and you just want to break it. I don't know why you want to do that.
No, the point is I'm not God, but obviously it always has meaning why he does something, even only because we don't fully see it now, doesn't mean anything.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Go on.
So, anyways, let's go back to Revelation 14.
Gehen wir zu Offenbarung 14.
And so we can see they sing this new song,
So, sie singen diesen neuen Lied.
and it was the song of their experience.
Und es war das Lied ihrer Erfahrung.
And let's go now to Psalms 33.
Gehen wir zu Psalm 33.
Let's read the verses 1 and 2.
Und lesen wir die Versen 1 und 2.
It says, "Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous, for praise is comely for the upright. Praise the Lord with harp, sing unto him with a psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings." Also verse 3.
Und Vers 3.
"Sing unto him a new song, play skillful with a loud noise." Okay, so here we can see they sing a new song, right?
Hier können wir sehen, dass sie ein neues Lied singen.
And how are they praising the Lord?
Und wie loben sie den Herrn?
With harps.
Mit Harfen.
Okay. And it says, "Sing unto him with a psaltery and an instrument of how many strings?"
Und ein Instrument von wie viele Seiten?
10.
10 Seiten.
Now go also to Psalms 92.
Und auch zu Psalmen 92.
Verses 1 to 3.
Die Versen 1 bis 3.
It says, "It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings, and upon a psaltery, and upon the harp with a solemn sound." So you also have this singing the song, and they sing also on a harp and a 10-stringed instrument.
Sie singen ein Lied, auch auf einer Harfe und ein Instrument mit 10 Seiten.
And now let's go also to Psalms 144.
Gehen wir zu Psalm 144.
And let's read verse 9. Verse 9.
Wir lesen Vers 9.
Or 9 and 10 you can even read. It
So, 9 und 10.
says, "I will sing a new song unto thee, O God." So what is he singing?
Was singt er?
A new song.
Ein neues Lied.
"Upon a psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings will I sing praises unto thee. It is he that giveth salvation unto kings, who delivereth David his servant from the hurtful sword." Okay, so we can see here it's also the song of deliverance that he wants to sing,
So,
right?
wir können hier sehen, das ist auch der Befreiungslied oder der Lied der Befreiung, die er hier singen wird.
Okay, and I mean the 10 strings. I mean I only can make a sanctified guess at the moment, but what is 10?
Aber die 10 Seiten und was stellt 10 dar? 10
What
Tipps.
you receive.
I mean you sing to God, right?
I mean, du singst zu Gott.
I mean, I would suggest that maybe that's false. You know, that refers to the 10 Commandments.
Also ich würde
Ja.
den vorschlagen, vielleicht ist es nicht richtig, dass es sich auf den 10 Geboten bezieht.
But you need to prove this also.
Du musst
Okay.
das auch beweisen. I think in the desert they were tested 10 times. Joshua and Caleb, they prevailed, right? So they can say that they've prevailed over these 10 tests. We
Yes,
see
but it doesn't matter. You still have, the Bible has to explain itself, so that's just assumption.
Okay, but the number 10, the 10 Commandments, 10 tests, it's all linked together, right?
10 Gebote und die 10 Prüfungen sind alle miteinander verbunden.
Okay, so anyways, let's go back to Revelation chapter 14.
So, gehen wir zurück zur Offenbarung 14.
And Now let's go to verse 4.
Gehen wir zu Vers 4.
It says, "These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb." So, what are they?
So, was sind sie?
The first fruit.
The firstfruits
Die
and the
Erstlingsfrüchte.
virgins, right?
Und die sind auch Jungfrauen.
So therefore, what does it allude to?
Deswegen, worauf bezieht das?
Parable of 10 virgins, right?
Das Gleichnis von 10 Jungfrauen.
Okay, because Sister White says, what does she say about the final test?
Und was sagt Ellen White über das finale Test?
Christ Object Lesson 412.
In Christi Gleichnisse 412.
It's at midnight when the earnest voice proclaimed, "Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him," right?
Es ist um Mitternacht, wo der ernsthafte Stimme erschallt, geht hinaus ihm entgegen.
Yes. And then the virgins awake. Okay.
Und dann wachen sie die Jungfrauen auf.
Okay, so these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. So they are the followers of the Lamb. Let's go to John chapter 10.
Jetzt gehen wir zu Johannes Kapitel 10.
And let's read verse 3 to 4.
Und lesen die Versen 3 und 4.
Or 2 to 4 rather.
Oder sogar die Versen 2 bis 4.
It says, "But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice." So what do?
Was tun sie?
Yeah, they follow the shepherd, right?
Sie folgen der Hirte.
Okay. Now let's go to John chapter 12,
Gehen wir zu Johannes 12
verse 26.
und Vers 26.
Or actually, we can even begin in verse 24.
Oder wir fangen sogar in Vers 24 an.
It says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me. And where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor." So, what does it say here?
Was sagt es hier?
When you follow him, what is the promise?
Wenn du ihm folgst, was ist die Verheißung?
You're reading now?
John 12, 24 to 26.
The Father will honor.
The Father will honor you, yes.
Der Vater wird dich ehren.
And what else?
Was noch?
Bring forth much fruit.
So?
You will bring forth much fruit.
No, according to verse 26. Yeah.
Gemäß Vers 26.
It says, "If any man serve me, let him follow me. And where I am, there shall also my servant be." Right? So if you follow him,
Also wenn du ihm folgst,
where will you be?
wo wirst du sein?
Christ.
With Christ is, right?
Wo Christus ist.
Okay, so go now to John chapter 14.
Jetzt gehen wir jetzt zu Johannes 14.
Beginning in verse 1.
Und dann fangen wir in Vers 1 an.
Verses 1 to 4.
Die Versen 1 bis 4.
It says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go ye know, and the way ye know." So what is the Lord promising here?
So, was verheißt der Herr hier?
Yes, where he is, we will also be. Yes,
So, wo er ist, werden wir auch sein,
if we follow him.
wenn wir ihm folgen.
And where is he?
Und wo ist er?
Heaven, throne.
Yes, in heaven, right?
Im Himmel.
So, and he promises then he will come and take us where he is, right?
Und er verheißt, dass er kommen wird und uns dahin bringen, wo er ist,
If you follow him.
wenn
Okay.
du ihm folgst.
So, and we understand perfectly, it's here when he literally comes, right?
Wir verstehen perfekterweise, es ist hier, wo er buchstäblich kommt,
And because the 144,000 they followed him whithersoever he goeth,
weil die 144.000, sie haben ihn befolgt, wo auch immer er geht.
and then he takes them up to heaven.
Und
Yes?
dann nimmt er sie ins Himmel auf.
But obviously it's also being typified here and here, right?
Aber das ist dann auch hier und hier vorausgeschattet.
Okay, so let's continue. Let's go also to Revelation 17.
Lass uns auch zur Offenbarung 17 gehen.
Revelation 17, verse 14.
Offenbarung 17 und Vers 14.
I mean, when we begin in verse 13, it speaks here about the 10 kings.
Und wenn wir anfangen, Vers 13, es spricht hier über die 10 Könige.
It says, These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Right? So, they make war with the Lamb, yes?
So, sie führen Krieg mit dem Lamm.
But the Lamb shall
Aber der Lamm wird
overcome them.
sie überwinden.
And there are some with him, yes?
Und es gibt einige mit ihm.
And so they are the ones that follow him.
Und das sind diejenigen, die ihm folgen.
Okay, and where do we see this illustration that they make war against the Lamb and the Lamb overcomes them?
Und wo sehen wir diese Darstellung, dass die Krieg gegen den Lamm führen, aber der Lamm überwindet sie?
Because it says, right, these have one mind and give their power and strength unto the beast.
Er sagt, diese haben eine Gesinnung und geben ihrem Kraft und ihrem Stärke dem Tier.
And then these, the 10 kings and the beast, make war against the Lamb.
Und
Right?
dann die, also die 10 Könige und das Tier, führen Krieg gegen den Lamm.
So let's go to Revelation 19.
Wenn wir zur Offenbarung 19,
Let's begin in verse 11.
und fangen wir in Vers 11 an.
And this we will show more clearly when we come to chapter 17. Okay.
Und das werden wir klarer zeigen, wenn wir zur Offenbarung 17 kommen.
Because chapter 17 has, Brother Mark and I discussed this on the plane back to Austria. Okay.
Offenbarung 17 haben Marc und ich eine Unterhaltung gehabt darüber.
And that also Revelation 17 is one further application that we haven't considered yet. Okay.
Offenbarung 17, es gibt eine weitere Anwendung, die wir noch nicht in Betracht gezogen haben.
Okay, but anyways, let's go now to Revelation 19.
Aber gehen wir jetzt zur Offenbarung 19
So verse 11.
und Vers 11.
It says, And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. So what does he do?
Was tut er?
Makes war.
Makes war. Okay.
Er führt Krieg.
So, and then he comes, right, with all the army, the heavenly army. Yes?
Und dann kommt er mit dem himmlischen Heer.
And then verse 19.
Dann Vers 19.
So this is the battle of Armageddon. Yes?
Hier spricht es über den Kampf Armageddon.
Yes? Because he comes there on the white horse in the seventh plague. Okay.
Er kommt da auf dem weißen Pferd in den 7. Plage.
And then verse 19.
Vers 19.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth. Who?
So, wer?
Peace.
The beast and the kings of the earth.
Ein
Right?
Tier und den Königen der
The
Erde.
kings of the earth would be who?
Könige der Erde werden wer?
The 10 kings. Right?
10 Könige.
So that's what we read in Revelation 17. Yes?
Und das ist, was wir in Offenbarung 17 gelesen
These
haben.
will make war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will overcome.
So, diese werden Krieg gegen den Lamm führen, aber der Lamm wird sie überwinden.
So, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Okay, so here we can see how they make war against him. Okay.
Und wir sehen, wie sie Krieg gegen ihn führen.
But then, verse 20,
Aber Vers 20 dann,
and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceedeth out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So, therefore, you can see here, this marks now how the Lamb overcomes them.
hier können wir sehen, wie der Lamm sie überwindet.
Okay, so, and those that are with him are those, the 144,000, and those that he resurrects there, right? The special
Die
resurrection.
mit ihm sind die 144.000 und diejenigen, die er in der besonderen Auferstehung auferweckt.
Okay, so let's go back to Revelation 14 and we come to a close now.
Gehen wir zurück zur Offenbarung 14 und kommen zum Schluss.
I mean, there's obviously much more to say, but let's just go to verse 5.
Gehen wir zu Vers 5.
It says, and in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. So let's go, keep your finger here, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2.
Halte den Platz hier und geht zum 1. Petrus 2.
Let's read verses 21 and 22.
Und wir lesen die Versen 21, 22.
It says, for even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered. Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. So what are you to do?
So, was sollst du tun?
Follow him, right?
Du sollst ihm folgen.
Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Right? So the 144,000, it says there was no guile found in their mouth. Okay.
144.000 sagt, dass keine Galle in ihrem Mund gefunden war.
Therefore, whom are they now reflecting?
So, und wem stellen sie denn da?
Christ.
Christus.
Okay, and also says that when you go back to Revelation 14, verse 5,
Und wenn wir zurück zur Offenbarung 14, Vers 5 gehen,
there was no guile in them, and also they were without fault before the throne of God.
keine Galle in sie gefunden, aber sie waren auch ohne Makel oder ohne Fehler vor dem Thron Gottes.
Okay, so let's go to Jude 1,
Gehen wir zu Judas 1,
verse 24.
Vers 24.
It says, now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now and ever. Amen. So here we can see, what will he do?
So, hier können wir sehen, was wird er tun.
Present you faultless, right?
Er wird dich makellos
You will
darstellen.
be without fault.
Du wirst ohne Fehler sein.
And let's go also to Song of Solomon,
Dann gehen wir auch zu Hohelied,
chapter 4.
Kapitel 4.
And verse 7.
Vers 7.
It says, thou art all fair, my love, there is no spot in thee. Okay, so when you're this church rampant, you know, without fault. Right?
Wenn du diese siegreiche Gemeinde geworden bist, bist du ohne Makel und ohne Fehler.
And when there's no guile in your mouth,
Wenn es keine Galle in deinem Mund gibt,
why?
warum? Das Wort in ihrem Mund.
Heart cleansed.
Yeah, your heart is cleansed, right?
Wenn dein Herz gereinigt ist.
Because when you go now to Hebrews chapter 12,
Und wenn du jetzt zu Hebräer Kapitel 12 gehst,
because it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh,
dann
right?
sagt, im Überfluss des Herzens spricht der Mund.
Hebrews 12,
Hebräer 12,
verses 14 and 15.
die Verse 14 und 15.
It says, "Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord." Okay, you have to follow peace, right? You follow Christ.
Du sollst Frieden folgen, Christus folgen.
"Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled." Yes? So, what is therefore not in the 144,000 anymore?
So, was gibt es nicht mehr in den 144.000?
Yeah, the bitterness, right? The root of
Der
bitterness.
Bitterkeit.
Okay, because it says they were without fault, without guile,
Und die waren ohne Fehlern, ohne Galle.
they were not defiled by women,
Sie waren
Okay.
nicht befleckt von Frauen.
but this root of bitterness defiles many, it says.
Das
Yes?
sagt hier, diese Wurzel der Bitterkeit verunreinigt viel. sagt
Okay.
es.
So, therefore we can see there this perfect representation of Christ,
Deswegen können wir sehen, dass die diese perfekte Darstellung von Christus sind.
but obviously those experiences here and here,
Aber auch diese Erfahrungen sowohl hier und da,
they are typifying then this at the end, right?
schatten dies am Ende voraus.
Okay, so here we understand the first group of the 144,000 is made up.
So, hier verstehen wir, dass die erste Gruppe der 144.000 aufgestellt sind.
All those SDAs, okay?
Die 7-Tags-Adventisten.
And then here the rest, all of the world that passed through this test successfully.
Und dann hier der Rest, all diejenigen von der Welt, die durch diesen Test erfolgreich hindurchgehen.
And obviously they didn't die, okay?
Und natürlich die nicht daran gestorben sind.
Okay. So tomorrow by God's grace we will continue on this subject.
Und morgen, so Gott möge, werden wir mit diesem Thema fortsetzen.
And are there any questions left?
Und gibt es Fragen?
Okay, good. Then let's close with prayer.
Dann lasst uns unser Gebet schon Schluss machen.